Hey everyone, this is Real Estate Riches Podcast, and boy, is it going to be rich, full of the wealth and the tips and the tricks of all kinds of successful agents, because that's what you want to be, right? A business builder who has success in their business. Well, that's what we got going on here. And I'm going to have all kinds of agents, men, women, young or older, sharing all their stuff because there's technology, there's just how do you build your business? There's so many questions, right? So let's learn from some of the best. Gather your wealth and build your business. That's what this channel is all about. And I'm excited to bring it to you. I'm Kathy Byrnes and I'll be your host. And stay tuned. Let's get at it, right? Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches. And today I have Renee Ruth, whose name is very similar to my friend Renee, which is confusing. But anyway, I'm excited to have you here. She's with EXP, so am I. But it's not about EXP today. It's about what we have to offer for some real estate riches. So, hey, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. So how I usually start is just like, tell us kind of your real estate story, in a few minutes or so, like how you got started, if you're on a team, all of that. Because our agenda, just so you know, is I am on a mission to help the 40-plus-year-old realtor who is either struggling in the business or they've started a second career struggling in this business. And NAR comes into play and throws a whole monkey wrench in the whole thing. And they don't know tech. Like, what can we do to help them do this business? So that's who our market is. So tell
I
me.
know exactly what to say. Okay, so let me give a backstory really quick. I was first a university professor for 15 years. I started teaching university when I was 25, maybe.
Wow.
So that was my first career, and I spent a lot of time teaching, making very little money. And so fast forward, real estate happened for me because I had just gotten married and the finances in the house were deflating, and my teaching income wasn't supporting the whole household, and I needed to switch that fast. And so real estate, I had a friend that was in it, and I'd kind of seen what he did, like the open houses. There's a lot to be said about shadowing someone. So if you're new in this, following a seasoned agent around, just soak in what they're saying and how they say it and all that. So anyway, I had accidentally done that with my friend over the past decade because he was one of those people that didn't like to be alone. So I was at open houses with coffee on my day off or whatever. So that was worked to my advantage. But what I needed to make, it was a money move for me. But what I quickly learned was that you can't do it for the money. So even though it was a money move for me, it didn't take but one deal to realize, you have to focus on helping other people first, and the money will follow, which, not that this is a plug for EXP, but that's what I love about that company, is that the play and the plug was always about helping first.
Yes.
The money came next. And I don't care what job you've ever done listening to this, that is just the truth. You have to focus on helping others first, and the success will follow. So for me, when I moved into real estate, it's like they say, when you start, you're literally at zero. There is nobody that is holding your hand. There is no, like, a lot of people get thrown to the wolves. I'm a very resilient person. By that, I mean, I will figure out a way. So I think there's got to be some sort of an intuition. So that's my quick backstory. I got into real estate. I was with a boutique brokerage when I first started, and there was very little training or support, which is fine. I would say that if you are an agent and you are in this business, you need to be hungry to learn. Like, listening to this podcast is you need to be soaking up every piece of knowledge from the people who are doing well, right? And not just from the news. So like, jumping over to the, NAR thing for a second, I still stand, even when they announced what they announced, I still stand by, if you come into this to help people, it will work out. So getting in this industry, it's very easy to be stressed. And I think one of the mindset, so for me, quick summary of my career. So I started in 2017, 2018, around then, and I started with very few sales, as you do. And I quickly shifted into greater sales when I applied myself. And so by that, I meant I was in open houses and I planned to be there until I didn't need to be. And for me, that was 2 years of open houses steady. That was me in dead open houses and still going back the next weekend and dead, it was, I didn't look at a week of what I did as evidence of what my year was. I looked at my job in terms of years. And I'm not trying to plug EXP, but because of the way that they've designed the company, my income actually doubled because they set milestones, right? So most of the time, if you're working somewhere, if they're not giving you milestones, you have to give them to yourself, because weeks turn into months, months turn into years. And suddenly you're like, well, I've made hardly any money at this, because you did not have goals set. You did not have deliverables. You did not even have steady income producing activity. So when I got into this and I started to move, I doubled my income for 5 years straight. And I would say it's because I woke up hungry, and I still wake up hungry. I don't wake up ever thinking, so really quick, I've got 12 closes this month, but I wake up every day thinking, I have nobody. Where's my next? Where is my next person? Hear me out. Where's my next person that needs my help?
Yeah.
And it has to be that mindset.
Well, one of the things that you said is they can't feel that you're hungry in that respect. They got to feel that you're hungry to help them, not hungry to make the sale. That's a huge difference.
So I tell all the agents that are new that I work with, which is not a lot, but the ones that I do, I always tell them, I said, people are like dogs. Where dogs can smell fear, people can smell desperation.
Yes.
Smell it. You literally think that you're rolling up and you're not sweating your financial situation, and they smell it. And you have to resolve that. It's kind of like I was a manager in a restaurant for a few years as well. And I used to tell them, when you come into the restaurant, you leave your personal stuff at the door. And so you have to think, apply that to your car. When you step out of your vehicle, whatever is going on in your relationship life, whatever is going on in your home life, whatever your bank account is doing to you, you leave that in your vehicle. And you come out, and all you are there to do is to provide assistance. Because here's the thing. And also, if you're newer and you're not as completely aware of what that is, come in humble. Don't come in like you know it all. Come in thinking, I am going to share with these people everything that I know. And whatever they're asking that I don't know, I am going to find those answers for them and for me. And that's how you build this catalog of knowledge, to where all of a sudden, when you show up at showings and listing appointments, it's second nature. Like, they literally can feel that you've put in the time, you've put in the work, you've put in the effort. And I told so many newbies too, I said, there is no book that I can hand you that's going to tell you how to do this job.
Every day is different, don't you think?
I don't know about you, Kathy, but every deal that I do, I learn something new.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, that was a new one. Like, just what? Well, for example, I don't know about where you live. Maybe it's circumstantial, but in our area, conventional loans now, the appraisers are calling out carbon monoxide detectors. The appraisal will not pass if on a conventional loan.
Interesting.
That is the first time that's ever happened.
Where are you at?
Virginia.
In Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah. So now guess what? Because I don't want to have those issues for my clients, what am I looking at every time I walk into a listing? Hey guys, you're going to have to put up active smoke detectors.
Well, and that's a good point, because you're paying attention. So now you're being proactive, and it's being said on here. Now I haven't heard any appraisers say that, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to be paying attention to it now, right?
Well, that's part of it too, right? Getting into a community that's sharing current information. Look, I was just on WSET, which is our local news station, because of the NAR situation. And we have to establish our value as agents. And one of the things that I said on that news station, I said, listen, people think that we make our money pushing paper, like that we're getting paid all this money for pushing paper. And I said, I don't know how many people, and let me share with everyone listening on how to establish value for yourself. I don't know how many people sell or buy in the six figures on a regular basis. I don't know anyone. I also don't know anyone that would go to court without representation in front of a judge, or go to any situation involving six figures without representation from somebody that knows more than they do. And with the laws constantly changing, I just gave you an example of a conventional. They don't even know what conventional loan is. They don't even know. So here's my point. So when you're going to them to establish this value, as you establish the commission structure, and I tell all of my sellers, I said, I cannot guarantee you I'll find a buyer. There is a reason that there is buyer agency and listing agency, and you didn't pay a buyer when you bought this house. So you can choose to not pay a buyer's agent. That's fine, but you've just reduced your network of buyers by 83%. That's actually a statistic you can look up. So again, it's establishing Oh, okay. So yeah, NAR said what it said, but we're showing the value of the system that exists, the system that why it exists. Sidebar, Kathy, I don't know. I've got agents all over the world. I've got agents I work with in Dominican, France, South Africa, and I'm getting a new one in Dubai here. We are the envy of the real estate world.
Oh, I know.
They look at our system, the very system that the DOJ is trying to break down. They're looking at that system in absolute envy because we can move houses, we can expedite the sale of these homes for
Yeah,
our buyers and our sellers.
right.
And
In Great Britain, I think it's 6 months.
look, in these countries where they don't have buyer agency, which is most of them,
Right? They don't even have licensing.
years. Dominican doesn't have licensing. And again, like sharing this info with you, you can say, hey, you guys, one of the reasons these buyer and listing agencies worked is it's envied because it takes months to sell houses in
Yeah,
the system without it than it does in the system that we have.
right.
Of course, everything has always been negotiable,
Yeah,
everything.
right.
Coming in and establishing your value as an agent. And even if you're a new agent, you have value. You took those classes, you pass those tests. And I always tell the agents who are new, get alongside a successful one and leverage their success. Hey,
Yeah.
I work with someone that's one of the top sellers in the area. So now all of a sudden you're not just new agent, you're a new agent with an army of information behind you.
I love the partnership that you have with EXP. Like you and I, we just met just now, but I feel like you're a partner in this because we're all one in EXP. Like if I needed somebody in your area, I'm calling you up or I'm going to find out. You're also a seasoned icon agent, which means you do a lot of business. I'm at a stage in my life, I don't want to do as much business.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty that I have here at EXP. I
Mhm.
can build the residual income.
Well,
which
that's what, to
you're doing.
sidebar, that's what I'm trying to do with this global poll. I brought one French agent in January. She has already brought in four.
Wow.
I've brought in five South African agents last year, and they're because it's so hard to sell over there. I'm bringing in, I have one Dominican agent, and then the Dubai agent's a hustler. So getting him to educate. So it's harder abroad. One, I've never
Yes.
foot in these countries, never.
Right.
So we're establishing rapport like this. Two, it's a brand new system over there. So
It's so unique. I think there some are hungry for it, some are scared of it. I'm going to Lisbon in June for the EXP International one because I have a team that I'm working with over there. And what's beautiful about EXP that is so unique is that you can build a global business. I'll be 74 in a couple of months. Do I want to keep selling and selling on that hamster wheel where you're broke afterwards or have a bunch of rentals that just want to make me crazy? That's not the path that I want to be on. And I started at nearly 56. So I broke. So here you are trying to start over and you're trying to have an end game. And the end game's like right around the corner, like need or to live a life, right? And look at you. You're building you have a global organization that your franchise models, they don't have. You have collaboration they don't have because they're all in these little niches with their little franchises. They don't collaborate. It's a
it's not
whole,
even that. Like the pitch on the global level is that these countries have access to a huge US market where a lot of them
yes,
are pulling money from. And
yes,
there's just a lot of advantages for the internationals. And it's establishing value. Here's the name of the game and the theme of this entire podcast is that you have to establish value, whether you are talking to a client, whether you're talking to a fellow agent. Like if you want a referral network, you have to establish your value in your
yes.
area to be somebody that they think of for a referral. And that takes time. And I think one of the great things about success in this industry is that you are a patient and persistent individual. Pivots. I've been telling everyone, you've got to pivot. So every time a new rule comes in, a new law comes in, you don't look at that as a wall. You look at it like, okay, going this way. Okay, which is how you reduce the stress. So many agents, look, my undergrad is in psychology. I had so many seasoned agents in town after this NAR thing calling me and just freaking out on the phone and me being like, whoa, 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 like, let's reframe this, and me like talking them off ledges because it's so easy to get pulled in the emotions of the world right now. Social media makes that fear thing almost a default for humans. And learning to strengthen your mindset. I always tell people, don't listen to anything that goes against what you want for your life. Don't listen to it.
Right.
Take off the news. I haven't watched the news in 12 years. No more than I'm at the gym or a friend tells me something. I'm like, what's happening? Because guess what? If it's not in my neighborhood,
I don't care.
what am I going to do about it? What exactly am I going to do about it? So I always say, I'm like, reduce the noise, because then it allows you to focus strongly on your goals and your objectives and move towards them. Fear, stress, all these things hamper and dampen all your efforts. And then it turns into a hamster on a wheel that's not moving.
Right.
It's fine if you're on a wheel making a bunch of money, like that's one thing. But if it's like the wheel isn't even moving, like you have to pivot. And one of the things so I do a lot of coaching. I was able to grow my business from a 30,000 year to $500,000 in under 5 years. And I was able to do that, a lot of that through EXP. But again, not a plug, it helps. So I coach now on how to move your business quickly in sales and success. And one of the primary things that I coach on is that you need to have a 12-month objective that you reduce into quarters, and then you take those quarters and you're going to reduce them into months. So for me, I work on 3 months, and I know how I work. I used to work in how many sales I wanted each month. Now I work in how much commission I want each month. And then I reduced those goals down to how much am I doing monthly? So like how many sales do I need to do monthly, and reduce that to how many people I need to talk to each week to get to those. So then I work through the week of activities. And at the end of the week, I'm like, did I achieve? And if I didn't, something's got to change. Because if you don't do those reevaluations on a weekly basis, that's the snowball of time going by and your business not growing.
I love that. And one of the things that you said there is you stopped paying attention to the number of deals that you were doing. You paid attention to the commission. That's a big deal to me. My net is critical. It's not my gross, it's my net. And I look at what are my costs to do a particular scenario. So what's my price point that I want to be focused on? So for me, right from the get-go, I saw my splits of, I was with the brick and mortar, I was with Coldwell Banker, and I'm looking at a 50-50 split, and I'm looking at the price of a home, and I'm like, I'm not doing 100 or 200 or 300 or even 400's it. I'm starting at 4 because it's equivalent to 2, right? And so then it went up and up and up, and I kept paying attention to my net. Then I got a partner. Now I got a partner where I got a 50-50 split. And now you've got the franchise fee, and you've got that. You got to keep paying attention to your net and strategizing who's your target market.
They don't teach you this. Like, it's kind of like we didn't go to school to learn taxes and like the things that matter. It's no different in real estate. You didn't take that real estate course to learn the things that matter about your business, like taxes, like your net, and that's something that I had to learn in the throes of me growing my business so quickly, was scaling back and being like, okay, where is the money going and where should it go? And what are my objectives? What do I want to invest in? And take that down to a monthly space so that you're looking at the commissions and then what you want to have and where it's going to go. So it's a learning process and a learning curve. But what's amazing is that there's a huge community of agents that are super open to supporting and helping. Paying forward, right? So everyone that's behind me, I'm like, don't make my mistakes, because I came in and no one told me X, Y, and Z. So I'm telling you now so that you can avoid the pitfalls and the hurdles that I had to run through as I grew my business, so you're right. I think one of the failures of agents, and every lender will say this, is that they're really bad with numbers and really bad with their money. And that's because we're so busy hustling the business. Just not that, like, lenders are in front of numbers all day. We're in front of people all day. So you have to take the time to sit down at a computer and look at your numbers to know what you do. When
I first started, I was so broke, and I started in 2006. So the market went up, then it crashed. So, but it was like you said, it's non-negotiable. You're going to figure it out, right? And that's what I had to do too. So I'm figuring it out and just surviving for the first 3 to 5 years, right? And so there was a period I did not only not pay my taxes, I didn't file my taxes. So you want to know what the penalty is for not filing?
I know.
$5,000 non-negotiable with interest, plus you still owe the tax. So when I finally did it, because I thought I was just avoiding them, and I didn't know there was a penalty for not filing. So then,
again, who tells you this? Carry on.
Right? So now I said, okay, making some good money. I'm going to pay these taxes, get all caught up here. And it was a $50,000 nut that I had with all the penalties and everything. And I'm like, what? So now if you were making 125 or whatever, because the numbers were different back there today, even though I was moving my price point up. So I'm like, holy cow. All I felt like I was doing was paying taxes and paying my bare minimum expenses. And I was working 7 days a week. And you talk about a hamster wheel. And I was very on purpose not to show that I needed these sales because I looked like I was doing great, but I was struggling. And what I did was I hired a bookkeeper who got me on QuickBooks, who got me all organized and said, you need to be to have a payroll and you can be one person on your payroll. And I said, I don't want it giving me a check. I want it just cutting it to the taxes. So we figured out what my taxes would be approximately for the year. And then every month they took out a check and it was all allocated to all the taxes. And then the rest that I would take out of my business account were owner draws, whatever I needed as an owner draw. And it changed everything for me. Everything.
I have just set that up because
I love it.
set that up because last year I had a similar story. It was like that I miscommunicated with my accountant and I said, I need you to pay on a monthly basis. And she did, but such a minimal amount. I don't know if she thought I was just rolling in cash. So when August rolled around, it's like, oh, by the way, you owe 60K. And I'm like,
yeah, where does that come from, right?
what? Yeah. So we had a heart to heart. I was like, you were told to take, like, you have my bank accounts, like you were told. And yeah, huge. So now everything is paid on a monthly basis, as it comes in, that amount goes out and it's paid. And so then what's left, again, working to your net, not your gross, right? And the difference in those words, if you don't know them. And I think so many people come into real estate and it's just a great quick moneymaker. And it is, if you can,
it can be, that's
if you
for
can
sure.
make it work. Yeah. But it won't last if you're not negotiating these things in your life. So really this entire podcast, I feel like someone should be taking notes because you've just learned like 50 things that you need to do
I'm telling you,
to grow it. But yeah,
lots of nuggets.
Lots of them. And again, like you seem, Kathy, like you'd be a lot like me. Like I'm open. You hear this, you want to message me and say, hey, I'm starting out last, I'm happy to send some ideas your way. But yeah, like it's been an amazing journey. I will say this. Real estate has been so fun for me and it's been freeing because I'm also a musician. I have to plug my music. I'm sorry. I'm also a musician. So if you go
I saw that.
Spotify or Apple Music, I'm a singer-songwriter. I also perform. I just sang with the Lynchburg Symphony on Saturday night.
Wow.
And I had actually a bunch of local agents be like, "Love, somebody, you're such a star!" Like, because it's cool. Our community supports each other. Thankfully, the town I'm in, most of us support each other regardless of brokerage. We recognize
I love that.
we need each other to make this work. We have to get along with each other to make this work. And that's another thing I tell all my new people. I'm like, don't like everyone. There's nobody in this business that's worth pitching a fight with. It's not worth the drama. It's not worth just do your job, be kind,
be kind.
Yeah. And
respectful
and supportive, regardless of how they're behaving.
Right.
And then just do your job. Save the drama for something else, but your business does not need a second of it. And you're going to get people that want to create drama, and I refuse to be pulled in. I'm like, I don't want to participate. I'm here to see this to close for the mutual benefit of your fine and mine. So let's just focus on that and, do your best. And that's
I couldn't agree with you more on that because I had one agent and it really given me grief. And I said, girl, don't we have the same goal? Don't you want to get to the closing table? Don't you think your sellers want to get to the closing table? And my buyers, we all want to get there, right? We all want to get paid. They want their house. They want to sell their house. Let's work in unity. Come on.
I've said the same thing. I've said the exact same thing. I'm like, I'm sorry, do you want this to get to close? Are you trying to sabotage this? Like, why are we even arguing right now?
Yeah.
And I'm not one of those agents that's trying to I can't work with the people that want to get one buy on a buyer or seller or take advantage of somebody. To me, there's a fair market out there. And respecting both parties is the best way to do business. And so there are some agents that are cutthroat and they will work with cutthroat people, and that's great. That's just that's not my space. Like if I catch somebody wants to be cutthroat, I'm like, I'm not your agent. Like I want to do what's right for everyone, you know. So
it's
that's
so important. Your integrity.
Right. Well, and then you do want to decide that, because you want to decide what kind of an agent are you? Because in deciding. So here's another little tip that I learned well, I keep relearning, but don't work with everyone. Everyone is not your client, and it's okay. Don't be so attached to the outcome that you're willing to sacrifice any of your integrity or any of who you are to just for the sake of a deal. So I have learned, if I don't connect with that person, or I am happy for them to find another agent to work with. And the phrase that I would always repeat to myself was, I do not depend on a person, place, or thing for my success. And when you claim that, then there is not a client that you have to work with. There is not an agent you have to work with there, because you don't depend on them. Your success is that commission goal you set, right? And then you are going for that, and not what that's. So then when you meet the client who isn't sure if they're ready to buy, they're not going to feel pressure from you, because that's not the person you have to meet the goal, because your goal is not dependent on any person, place, or thing. And when I living by that mantra, I have been able to have this motion in my business where I happily achieve my goals, and everyone involved feels comfortable and supported. And there's never that, you run into agents who are like, that agent was really pushy, or, guys, that's you letting your fear come out in the deal, instead of leaving your fear in the car and coming out to help them for what's in their best interest.
And you know what the other side picks up? Your confidence.
Oh yeah.
Even if
you shouldn't be there. Look, you could be completely broke.
Yes. Been there.
You really could have a car getting repoed tomorrow, but you roll up there like everything is straight. And that's the thing. If you live in that space, okay, so here comes the law of attraction. If you live in that space, that's the space that's coming to you.
That's right.
If you live in a space where there's lack, there's less, and you're stressed, that's what's coming right back at you. What goes around comes around. And so you have to guard your thoughts, you have to guard your words, and you have to guard your actions. And something that I did is I started every morning with gratitude. Because if you're in a bad space, in debt or whatever it is, and you're in a bad headspace, and you wake up in a bad headspace, your whole day stays in that space. If you want to do a quick flip, a quick pivot, and this can apply in the morning or any time in the day. If you're about to get out of the car and you're stressing finances and you got to go deal with this person, sit down and be thankful for 5 things. Sitting down and being thankful for 5 things completely shifts your energy.
Love it.
Walk into that meeting or that first interaction or next, second, 10th interaction, and you're not going to have that stress on you. And the other thing, if that doesn't work fast enough, I call it a gratitude walk. So when you walk to meet them, you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love that.
Because it forces your brain. It's kind of the same thing why yoga, they do because you're shutting out the world, right? So if you're going up to them and you're not feeling, if you go, thank you, by the time you get to them, all you said is thank you. And they're like, hey, how are you? It's just easier to move into that.
Yeah, I love that.
Safe space instead of a space that evidences where you are in your life. And because that's not their problem, that's your problem.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you're not kidding. We just had about 1 million nuggets in here. This is a good one, girl.
Oh, thanks. I'm happy to share. I know I don't want to run over time because I can.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to wrap us up. Anything special you wanted to say before we get off?
I think I would end everything with, if I can, this is the phrase I use on every single one of my videos. I make motivational videos, 60 seconds. Follow me on socials because you can catch 60 seconds of all of this. But I always end it with, if I can do it, so can you.
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah.
I feel the same.
If I can do it, I'm nobody. I'm nobody. If I can find this success, so can you.
Yeah.
I was a teacher. Not in sales. If I can do this, so can you.
This is great. It is a great industry for exactly that. But it is attitude. It's about focus and grit as well, too.
Tenacity. That's my favorite. You have to be tenacious.
Yeah, very tenacious. I'm affectionately called a junkyard dog. I do not quit.
Yes. Like Tenacious D is that band. I love it because it's Jack Black's band. They're so great. But every time I think of Tenacious D, I'm like, it's that tenacity. Like you're literally like, you guys, I don't see any other way than achieving goals I set. I won't see any other way. And when I start to see another way, I go on a gratitude walk, or I say, you have to shift.
Yes. Love, love, love this. Thank you so much, Renee. This has been great. All right, everybody. If you like this, please subscribe below. We'll have all her contact information. You can reach out to her, and my contact information will be there as well. Please reach out, subscribe, share this. This is a good one. Lots of gold nuggets here. Bye, everybody. Thank you. So thanks for joining me on this episode of Real Estate Riches. Wasn't that great? I'm sure you got a nugget or two. I know I did. So if you liked it, please subscribe below, share it with everybody, make some comments. We really find that invaluable. And if you're thinking that you would love to talk about this a little bit more, let's schedule a business strategy call. I'll have the link below. And let's see if we can't mastermind together and see if we can empower each other. That would be great. So until next time, signing off. Hope to see you on the next one.